Okay, got everything coated yesterday, back on the second day. Everything looks pretty dry. Joint compounds always shrink back the next day. So we're gonna go through, pole sand it real quick, and then I'm gonna follow through with the second coat, and that's all it calls for. No texture, just the second coat. Since it's just a closet room. Easy, 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 easy. Put the door trim on yesterday, so he has to caulk in the door trim. But I'm just sanding this with like an 80 grit or a 100 grit sandpaper works fine for first coat. Usually after second coat you would do like a 120 to 180 grit. So it's pretty simple, easy job, do it yourself. 6 sheets of drywall. And then once we get this all sanded out, you can also take a damp sponge, a wet sponge, and de-dust everything if you want. And then turn around and do a second coat with a regular all-purpose joint compound. Second coat you want a little thinner than a first coat, so add a little water, mix it up thoroughly. You don't want to use straight box mud because then it's really hard to use with a knife. So it's easier to just thin it down a tad bit, mix it up thoroughly, and cut everything out. But yeah, let's get to work here. Got my sandpaper on, I got my little sand pole. It's easy to use. Quick sanding, you're not grinding away. You're just going over, getting rid of any lap marks, any imperfections. Just a quick swipe over everything. You're not grinding it down. You're not doing a level 5 smooth wall, sanding it all the mud away. You're just getting rid of the edges, imperfections, goobers, stuff like that. That's all you need to sand out. Quick and easy. Sponge and a water bucket in here. Damp sponge, like I said. You can take that and really get rid of the edge work. Go over everything. You're de-dusting and it's fading that out, so it gives it a better finish. If you want to take the extra time, go ahead and sponge. Basically go over everything with the sponge. It takes rid of any mud, excess mud. It just gets rid of edges on the actual sheetrock. Gets rid of edges. It'll make everything really nice if you want to take the time and sponge everything off. Of course, you'd only do this on a small project. If you're doing a whole house, you're not going to go through and sponge off everything in a house. Let's go ahead and just take about 2 or 3 minutes, and we're going to go over everything with clean sponge. You have to keep the sponge clean, damp, fresh water. We're just going to go over everything real quick. That way too, if I go to coat over it, you got all the dust off, it's not going to leave a bunch of bubbles. Mud doesn't like to stick to dust, so we're going to de-dust the walls. You're not soaking the walls down, you're just going over everything real quick, just to take the dust off. And the angle, edges, real quick. Oh, don't hit the light switch. And sponge. A little more effort on the butt joints. Really get the dust off the butt joints. If you see any imperfections, you can really rub it down, kind of like you're wet sanding away the mistakes. But I'm mostly getting rid of the edge, the mud edge, the coat mud edge. any lap marks you forgot to sand it up, just give it a little effort. The sponge dries out quick, so you have to keep a water bucket next to you. I've seen guys, instead of using a sponge, they use like a Swift or broom, like a floor broom that was wet, just to give everything a quick swipe down. There's other techniques. That's just a small area, so I'm able to reach everything off the ground, 7-foot ceilings. Just like that, everything's wiped down. Took me less than a minute. Get rid of the edges. Now the detail work light switch. Any goobers, you can scrape them off. Keep hitting it. Any extra mud, just get rid of it all. Alright. Already got a pan of mud there for second coat. I'm going to just go through and do a second coat. It'll be real easy to second coat now that I've de-dusted everything. I'm going to use a 12-inch knife to coat everything, a clean 12-inch knife. Same thing. Like before. Do the whole joint. Now I'm going to feather it. Basically take the top off, the bottom off. Feathering the edges. And then I'm going to go over. I'm not going to stand the knife up like that. I'm going to lay it flat so it leaves somewhat of a coat. You're coating it. It's still deep, so you got to at least push the knife so you leave a nice coat behind. You don't want to take all that mud off. Don't stand the knife up, lay it kind of flat. And the edges like this, no big deal. Your angle to your I like to use 6-inch knife into my actual angles. Basically do one side. Pull it tight. That way you keep a nice square angle. check everything. Rows and nails, do another cut of nail, no problem. Get all your nails. Anything else you missed, just double check and move on. Rows and nails. Like that, 2 sheets of drywall already got coated out. That's already finished. And we'll start working on this. And I barely used a half a pan of joint compound. Same thing on the angle. I can run it all the way down. Some guys like to even star the corner just like that with mud. Whatever's easiest for you. You already got it first coated. Second coat's just to fill in any imperfections, any shrink back. Use up all the mud in your can, or you get more mud. Feather that edge, feather that edge, feather the top edge, feather the top edge. Remember, like standing your knife up, lay it kind of flat to actually coat. Any scratches, imperfections, just pull it the other way. No big deal. Nice, perfect coat. Now shrink back and be perfect. Angles, I already did this one side, so I'm just going to pull these sides horizontally since I did the other 90 degree vertically. You can both do them vertically, but you don't want to mess up your square corners. You just basically get some mud over the tape. Coat the tape is all you're really doing. Alright, rows and nails. 1, 2. Real good taper can use one knife of mud and do a whole sheet of nails without dipping in. I'm pulling these tighter. I just need them to fill in. I don't want a big old hump of mud where my nails are, because you see it. So you pull the nails tight, and if they shrink back, do another coat. Sometimes guys do 3 coats on nails, so they know they're all hidden. Just like that, everything's pretty much coated. It can take me 15 minutes. I might go up there and hit the top real quick off the little bench or ladder, and that's pretty much it. And I'm going to do tight bead of caulking, clean the floors, and that's about it in here. Easy, easy. Didn't use 1 pan of mud for almost 6 sheets of sheetrock.